Welcome to the Fantasy Dad Show, live on Facebook and Twitch, hosted by Ryan Rhino Kennedy, Kevin Giroux, and Seamus the Moose Anderson.
What's up, everybody? What? What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's the Fantasy Dads. You're here with Seamus the Moose Anderson and Dan Perkins on a beautiful Thursday night. We have an awesome game tonight, and yeah, welcome, Dan. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Liking this game a lot more just on the surface level than like what we got the past couple weeks. So
Yeah,
definitely excited for that. And I mean, we're in week 5 now, so it'd be like the first third of the fantasy season starting to wrap up, and now you're really starting to shape like how's your team's doing and everything, ready to get into some stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit of pregame tonight, but I'll run through what we're going to talk about real quick. So we got new injuries. We got news and injuries. The did not practices, the people that are out, the IR additions. There's been a lot happening since our Tuesday show that we think you guys need to know. We'll try to run through it as quickly as possible. There are a lot of names for the limited, which we can talk about some of them. But really, I don't think we need to dive too deep into them because really, you guys just have to pay attention to Friday and Saturday. That's the most important thing is you guys are paying attention to who's practicing tomorrow and who's not. We'll go into our who do you like rest of the season, our week 5 flop or pops, our DFS plays of the week, and then we'll talk a little bit of gambling. So I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Perks. Why don't you run through the injuries for us, man? We can talk a little bit about some of them.
Yeah, so let's focus on the Thursday night game. One we're gonna watch in an hour right now. We got Chris Carson. He's officially inactive. He has a neck injury, so I mean that has ramifications not only for the next couple weeks, but beyond if it's a herniated disc or something that could be sensitive to long-term football prospects. Henderson, he's gonna play. He got no injury designation, so he's going to be good to go. Probably going to be used at a full capacity. Metcalf, also no injury designation. He was limited yesterday with a foot injury, but he's going to be good to go. Higbee practicing fully yesterday, and he's going to be good to go today. On the other side, his old running mate, Everett, is going to be out today due to COVID-19 protocols. So it's unclear if it was the contact protocol or if he actually contracted it himself, but he's got to sit out. He got to produce negative tests, I think 2 of them before he gets to play again, and vaccination status affects that too. So, but he's out today. Going around the league, we got Christian McCaffrey looking ready to play this Sunday. He's been a limited practice participant all this week.
Huge.
Huge, people, man. Definitely welcoming back their RB1 and their 101 pick. So that's gonna be good for some owners. Melvin Gordon, he was limited yesterday. He did return today with a leg injury. So we want to make sure he gets in another practice tomorrow just to be sure that he doesn't re-aggravate it or anything, but looking on track to play. AJ Brown returned to practice with he had a hamstring injury. Julio did not. Not to say Julio can't play, because he's going to get the veterans treatment a little bit, and like Moose was saying, you're going to want to watch tomorrow to see if he does get in at least a limited session. But AJ Brown's looking to play. Bridgewater slated to play. He was in the concussion protocol. That could always be a little tricky. So if he has any other extra hurdles to get through the next couple of days, we'll just keep on top of that.
Yep.
You got Antonio Gibson. He got in a limited practice. He had a shin injury. He should be good to go. Zeke and Amari Cooper from America's team, not my team, they're back to practice. So they should be good to go. Who they got this week? The Giants. So yeah, they're gonna be good to go. Mitchell, Elijah Mitchell, everyone's week 1 waiver wire darling. He's limited. He came back from he had a shoulder injury, but he's gotten a limited practice this week. I
Yep.
believe he was limited last week and missed the game.
He did.
So it's not a guarantee that he's going to be out there, but he looks on track to at least play. And if he is out there, your guess is as good as mine in terms of if he's just going to resume the full workload or if they're going to have a platoon with Sermon. And Chase Edmonds, he was limited in practice. Obviously, we all saw James Conner pretty much hammering some touchdowns. He's been doing it all season, but Edmonds has been quietly effective too for like a mid-round RB pick. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we want to make sure he gets out there for the owners if you're relying on him. A couple people did not practice for this week, or at least the most recent reports we got. Garoppolo, he didn't practice. He has the calf strain, so I don't think he's gonna go. I think it's gonna be Trey Lance another week.
Well, yeah, definitely looking like Trey Lance season.
Yeah. You got Joe Mixon. He didn't practice. He got the ankle injury. That could be big because, just in terms of how you're relying on him. Gronk, he's missed practice for his ribs. He's got cracked ribs and I think a punctured lung. So he's looking like he's going to miss another week.
At least.
They're saying he could return next week. I think I caught that somewhere else, but
I saw that, but dude, like in what world will a punctured lung will he be okay in a week? Like when Gronk is hurt, he's hurt. Like there's no way with cracked ribs you can't do anything. You can't rehab a fucking punctured lung. Like you're done. You're done for the foreseeable future. So I don't know. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, we got George Kittle. Another tight end. He didn't practice with a calf injury, so was closely monitored that. I think he had 10 targets last week, 4 catches. So, I mean, he looked like he was going to be back on the upswing from what people were paying for him at draft season. Amari Cooper, he didn't practice. He had a hamstring injury.
He should be good though, right?
Well, tomorrow will tell.
Yeah, we'll tell. Yeah, we'll know tomorrow.
He should be good. I mean, when it comes to the older guys, just maintenance days. Cooper doesn't need the reps. He's one of the best route runners in the league, just as is. So, yeah. And same with this next guy, Julio. We mentioned him a bit earlier. Did not practice, got the hamstring. Hawkinson, he didn't practice. He's got a knee injury. And Jared Goff's been secretly effective, like at least in terms of yardage, and he's been looking his way a lot. So, I mean, that's going to be big, not just for obviously the owners of Hawkinson, but just the Lions offense in general. And then Curtis Samuel came back. He's not practicing. He has a groin injury. So, I mean, I think more so like groins and hamstrings is more like a conditioning type thing. Especially someone that missed a couple weeks or start of the season and he just came back. So we'll see if he actually gets out there tomorrow and then Sunday. Make a trip to London for a couple more notes. Calvin Ridley, he didn't go. He's missing the game due to personal reasons. So the game starts at 9:30. He won't be there. You guys got to wake up and watch it. That offense is going to continue to look brutal, though, without him and Russell Gage. Russell Gage is actually hurt, though, and that's why he's out. Calvin Ridley is out for personal reasons. We don't know the extent of it. Just that's the only information they're letting us know as of this time. And so it could be something. Could be something that could linger. It could be, something that's a short-term issue that he could resolve stateside. And a couple people on the IR. One doesn't surprise me one bit. Will Fuller plays games, he misses games. He's on the IR, so he's going to be missing at least 3 weeks.
Broken finger.
Broken finger.
Because I'm sure Jacoby Brissett's just hucking the ball so hard, like Brett Favre. Like, are you kidding me, dude? Okay, I just want to go off on a 20-second tangent. Can we just allow steroids in sports already? Can we just allow it? Because it makes every game better. It makes baseball better. It makes football better. Those are the two sports. I say we scrap all the rules and we just allow it. It's ridiculous. Like, we want to see Will Fuller play. We want this dude to have a healthy career. The only way he's going to do that is if he's getting the juice. We saw it last year. He was fantastic. Anyway, there's my rant. It's ridiculous. He's always going to be hurt.
And he could be a number one option on an NFL team. Like he has the skill set. It's just a matter of being out there. The biggest ability is availability, and he never has it. So, I mean, we're gonna go on to Tony Jones. He's on the IR. He wasn't getting too much work behind Alvin Kamara, but nonetheless, if you have Kamara, just expect that usage to go up just a little bit more. He's been a little bit of a disappointment for those that spent the top 3 capital on him, but Tony Jones on IR. Move him to your IR if you're the Kamara owner and you have both, so playing without him accordingly. And that's about it in terms of the major ramifications for injuries. If there's any late additions, definitely be more wary of that, but that's the news we got for now.
Yeah, and follow us on Twitter. Usually it's Kev that deals with the Twitter. He's usually the guy that's tweeting out, and he'll keep you updated there. Before we talk about a couple of those guys, because I do want to talk about the situations of a couple of those and the implications if they don't play. But first off, everybody, thanks for joining the show. We love that you guys are all here. Please like, please share, please comment. I see Alex is in here. He said no school. That's what's up. Alex. No school tomorrow. That's awesome. For those that don't know Alex, he is in our Legacy League, and he's our youngest listener and our youngest, opponent in our league. And his team is absolutely filthy. He drafted like masterclass. So what's good, Alex? And then we got Paul in here. Paul, what's up? Good to see you again, man. So Paul did have a question. So he made a new deal. He made a trade. And I just want to say before we get into Paul's question, because I think we're both going to know the answer. Are trades just rampant right now? I'm making trades. I'm getting offers. It's been crazy.
I think so, and this is part of that quarter to third of the season check-in where you're looking at your team. And I kind of escalate my trade usage as I'm lower in the standings. So if I'm 1-3, I'm shaking things up. If I'm 4-0, I might want to have the competition come to me a bit, but I mean, this is a time to get some value on guys that you might want to jump in now, while like if you drafted an Allen Robinson and people still think like, oh, he's wide receiver 1 for you, like you want to soak in that last minute draft day value for him.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, I've been making moves, but we'll get into your question real quick, Paul. So he traded Metcalf and James Robinson and Conklin. So Metcalf, Robinson, Conklin for Laviska Shenault, Kareem Hunt, and Darren Waller. Yeah, I'll make that move 10 times out of 10. Excuse my voice, everyone. Tonight I had a hockey game last night, and I'm still recovering from the Patriots game, so my voice is messed up. As I'll go first. I like that deal. I love Waller rest of the year. James Robinson is probably the biggest part of that deal that you gave up, but Kareem Hunt's an absolute beast. If it's a PPR league, then I love that deal. And Laviska Shenault, I mean, he was eating the other night, dude. And with DJ Chark out the rest of the year, as much as I love Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault is not a bad person to have. What do you say about that deal, Parks?
I gotta agree with you, Moose. As little as a part he may have, Carlos Hyde is coming back. So that usage, that sky high usage for James Robinson might come back down to around the 60% snap share and things of that nature. So he'll be valuable. And this is a time to get rid of him if you don't feel like they're going to use him as he did last year. Metcalf's big piece to move on from, but you're getting 3 starters back. Assuming Chenault is going to be that guy for Jacksonville in the passing game, which he should be. I love Kareem Hunt. Darren Waller's a stud. You did a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a ballsy trade. I think it's scary to give up a guy like Metcalf. And I think it's a scary move to get rid of a guy that's been as good as James Robinson has. So, yeah, love it though. Bobby DiCarlo, Matt Walker, what's up, fellas? Bobby DiCarlo says, Moose Poppy, yes, you know. Yeah, no, so we'll continue down the list in a little bit. I don't think we have any more questions as of right now, but I do want to talk about a couple of these dudes that are not practicing right now, because I think it's important we dive a little bit deeper into them. So, as you know, Alex Collins, he was an immediate waiver pickup if you were a Chris Carson owner this weekend. Damian Williams was the number one pickup, and thank God I got him in one league where I had David Montgomery. I can't tell you how excited I was that I was able to get him I believe I was at the 6 waiver priority. It was the 5 or 6, so I was pumped. But Joe Mixon is an interesting one because we know Joe Mixon has a history, right? He has a history of missing games. He has a history of being week to week all the time, like the entire season. He might be week to week, and that's just kind of how it goes. Samaje Perine and Evans. Is it Chris Evans? What's the guy's name?
No, Darrington or
Is it Darrington?
Darvington, something like that.
I'll have to take a look. I personally, I just don't think I trust Samaje Perine. Like, I wouldn't be playing him if I'm a Joe Mixon owner. Like, I'm looking to do literally anything besides playing Samaje Perine. I don't like it. So I saw today that he was going to split carries with their other back. So I don't think I like it.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Mixon, just going back to him a little bit, like he reminds me of like when Arian Foster used to run. Arian Foster used to like kind of duck out of contact, pick his yards, but when he gets hit, he got hurt. And Mixon, he kind of picks his spots pretty nice. Like he's a good running back, he's got good vision, but when he gets hit, he's Mr. Glass. Like I don't understand it. And the Bengals know the talent, but but if he can't stay out there, then you're just gonna be the wolf of the running back position. And it looks like it actually was Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Derek DeSonia's got in there and commented that. Appreciate you, bud. Welcome to
thanks for the heads up. So it looks like per Ben Baby of ESPN, Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan said that Joe Mixon is out. The team will use a committee approach with Samaje Perine and Chris Evans. So unfortunately, I mean, I don't think either Perine or Evans can be reliable as a RB2, RB3 like flex play. Like I just don't. I know Perine has outtouched Evans by a large margin, but that makes me nervous. And so if you guys did pick up Samaje Perine, first off, I hope you didn't spend too much money, too much fab. And if you did, and you have other guys that you can play, let us know. We may suggest that you play them over an immediate starter that is Samaje Perine, who will ultimately lose some touches to Chris Evans.
Yeah, sometimes when we make these waiver wire pickups, it is part opportunity, but it's also skill level. So the Bengals know that Mix can handle the workload by himself. They know that if he's missing, that it's going to take a committee approach. So you can't just value the next man up like you would, say, the Damian Williams situation where, I mean, we've seen what he did in other systems. We've seen him, I mean, could have been a Super Bowl MVP. So it's kind of like, we know what he can do. And this is a different class of guys we're talking about with Perine and the rookie Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about Evans from Tennessee earlier. That's why I got Darrington.
Oh, Darrington Evans.
Yeah, but
yeah. So anybody else? I didn't really know if I wanted to talk about anybody else on the list just yet. Obviously it's Trey Lance season. We'll see how that goes. It's really upsetting to see Curtis Samuel not back yet. I really hope he gets back and healthy soon. I think he'll be all right. But a lot of these guys are taking maintenance days. I think Amari Cooper will play. Julio Jones is a toss up. Hawkinson should play. I know he's got that lingering knee issue, but I mean, hope to God he can play, right? That's what I hope. So it's upsetting about Calvin Ridley. He is absolutely screwing everybody right now. I hope those personal reasons are warranted, and I'm not trying to devalue him, and I'm not trying to, say anything wrong if he's going through some mental health shit or anything like that. That's perfectly fine, but it's just infuriating when you spend a second round pick, an early second round pick on someone like Calvin Ridley. The way I got him, I traded for him in one league. It was a dynasty league where I got Darnell Mooney too, so it was a good move. And I traded away Tua because he's trash. And I got Daniel Jones, which was cool. I was like, I don't really know if I want Daniel Jones, but like that's worked out so far too. But my other league, I actually was at a house, Dan. I was at a house with a bunch of guys. We were doing our draft. It was on Yahoo, and the Wi-Fi went down for a minute and a half, and I was unable to make my second round pick. Now, I would have taken DeAndre Hopkins over Calvin Ridley at this point in the season. Neither would have mattered. But I took Calvin Ridley. He was the next guy on the board, auto drafted. So I am pretty mad about that. His output has not been good. Yeah, Rhino's in the chat. He said bust of the year so far, and I would 100% disagree. He could be getting ready to hold out on injury. Like this could be the start of a Stephon Gilmore situation. Like he could just be like, I can't do this. Like I can't keep playing with Matt Ryan. I can't keep doing this with Arthur Smith, who clearly has no idea what he's doing. Matt Nagy 2.0. So I just don't know what to think about it. But that's enough about injuries. If you're ready to move on, I am ready to move on too.
Yeah, so just a quick aside note then,
Sure.
like, I mean, let's talk about a little bit about, say, your second round dilemma. You ended up getting him there. This is why, and I hope you guys replay this for next season, next off season, whatever, for when you prepare for fantasy. But this is why I like going running backs early. If you were in the back of the first round and you decided, oh, I'm gonna try to take a swing on, say, Hopkins or Ridley, and you're missing out on like someone like, say, an Eckler or a Chubb that slid back there because Gibson, guys like that, then you're paying the repercussions now because the wide receivers they're that much more predictable, and then later guys just end up ascending that much more. I'm thinking about the Mike Williams. I mean, aside from last week, he was the wide receiver 3 pretty much for this year. So, like, you want to draft safety. I mean, even in the PPR league, you might say that that's a safer bet, and Ridley wasn't necessarily a risky pick. But this is kind of like what comes to the territory is that it could fluctuate year by year.
Yeah,
with the receivers especially.
Yeah, and me and Smirks were talking about it on the Transaction Tuesday show. Every Tuesday at 8:00. Get there. We were talking about how the one thing we know about fantasy football is tight ends can be trash and wide receivers are forever inconsistent. You will never know. Mike Williams, best value in the draft right now. Marvin Jones, he's up there too. Running backs, you don't have that type of value. You don't have somebody that's going to be a starter immediately. DJ Moore, because of his year last year, he was what, a 5th, 6th round pick? Like it's just, you can't predict it. And I talked about that earlier in the year when we were doing our mock drafts and we were doing our drafts that I think it's only like 50% of projected top 10 wide receivers end up in the top 10. So it just happens every single year. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, running back heavy. It just is what it is at this point. We would all draft differently if we could draft again. We say this every year. All right, you ready for rest of season?
Yeah, let's do it. Start us off. Give us well, I'll give you the first one, and then you could go back to me with the next one. We'll go like that.
Sure.
So, rest of season, you're picking now. Forget the past, predict the future. One side you got Dak Prescott, and the other side you got Russell Wilson.
Okay, yeah. No, I like this one. So, I think for me it has to do They both have very similar strength of schedule moving forward. For me, it's going to be Dak Prescott. He doesn't have to play the Rams twice. I just don't think that his schedule is nearly as hard, even though he has to play the Giants twice. And the Giants have been okay against the quarterback for fantasy wise. They have to play New Orleans and Denver, so those aren't going to be easy games. But when it comes to the rest of the season, he's got New England. He'll probably tear us up. Atlanta, Kansas City. He could tear up the Raiders, even though they've not been so bad, and then Washington again in the finals. If you made it that far with Dak, like that would be one of the QBs I'd be like really happy with going into a championship this year. Obviously you want it to be Mahomes, you want it to be, Josh Allen or Kyler Murray. That's who you would think you would go to the finals with. But no, for me it's Dak, and it's not like it's for me, I liked Dak coming into the year more than I did Russ anyways, right? So for me, I'm going with prediction. For Russ's sake, though, he's got the Rams tonight, and it's prime time, so he could absolutely have 50 points tonight. Like that's not out of the realm, like at all. But prime time Russ is one of the best football players I've ever seen play the game. And the statistics prove it. But when you have the Rams again, and then Chicago in what would be a final week, yeah, I think I have to lean Dak just because of that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think unlike you though, I was higher on Russell going into the season, but
Sure.
seeing the stability of Dak and his ankle's fine, and even his shoulder that popped up in the preseason, that's not an issue no longer. Seeing the emergence really of Schultz, just added another weapon in the middle of the field, getting tough catches that way, and even Zeke, starting to pick up and move the offense a bit, move the offense along a bit. I definitely like that situation better. You talked about
Yeah.
the schedule, and then just as we look at how teams change, you would originally think like, well, I don't want my quarterback to go against Washington that late in the season. Well, now fire him up, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just how we're
Right.
thinking about teams and like, yeah, how situations change and year by year, the unpredictability of that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with Dak Prescott, and I don't know if those are like common opinions. So even if you could do the swap, by all means, go ahead and do it, and let the other owner think, wow, I'm getting Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah.
And maybe could even squeeze another little piece out of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely like the Dak side of that.
Okay. Yeah, and you know what too? I just thought of it while you were talking too. Is that Dak has the run game with both Zeke and Tony Pollard, and we don't know what's going to happen with Chris Carson if he has a significant disc herniation. It's not going to be good for him because he may need to get a surgery for that. He may need to get I think it's like a discanoptic. I don't know the scientific word for it, but it's a disc surgery. So that could take months. It could take as little as a month and a half and as long as 6 months. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but we've seen it. And yeah, Rhino, you're exactly right. Better offense and a better team. So yeah, so let's continue the next one. This one I'm a little bit more interested in because for anybody that doesn't know, typically we speak more about PPR than any other league. It's the most used format nowadays, and we know a lot of people have bonus leagues. A lot of people play in half PPR. I used to only play half PPR. Now I'm in a couple standard. And I'm in a couple half. And then in my newer leagues, it's all PPR. All the new leagues that have joined, they're all PPR. So I just want everyone to realize that. So you're not like, well, what about in my league? Like, we'll let you know if you're in half PPR league or something like that. Let us know. And first off, thanks for everybody for joining. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. Get us out there. Next one we're gonna go with a couple running backs. It's gonna be Najee Harris or Nick Chubb rest of season. I really like this one. PPR, you go first.
All right. So if it's PPR, it's Najee Harris. Not even a second thought. No
Okay.
looking back. Just go with Najee Harris.
Okay.
Um,
Are
it
are
doesn't.
they like Are they like close though? Like like when they end their season, like where they're ranked, do you think they're close, or do you think like Nick Chubb is still like bottom half of 15 to 20?
I wouldn't even say Chubb is that low, but yeah, they're still close. I just think there's a distinct edge with Najee Harris, especially in the PPR setting. Nick Chubb has the ultimate floor and stability. Like he is Derrick Henry light. Except Derrick Henry's actually getting passes this year, but
Which
um,
is dangerous, by the
which
way.
just blows it out the water. But
So
he was
scary.
bringing you the same thing as Henry, as like okay, he might not get say that many more carries than the other top tier running backs, but he's effective per carry and he's almost as good a bet as anybody to get in the end zone just because he's a hard guy to bring down. Um, Now Najee, on the inverse of that, he has become essentially Darren Sproles. Like
Yeah.
he's not even averaging 4 yards a carry. He's almost closer to getting under 3. But when you have 14 catches one day, when you have 5, 6, and your target numbers are up there with the elite receivers, then
Yeah.
it makes that much of a difference. If we go into like a half point setting, then I still might lean Najee, but that's where it definitely gets closer. And ultimately, like in a standard league, I'll take Chubb just because of the
Okay.
touchdown upside. But this is really the floor Najee's rushing. If he kicks that up just a little bit, then we're talking about getting into like that top 5 finish, whereas
Yeah.
right now he's still in the bottom half of the top 10.
Right. Right. Like if he's getting more than 13 rushes a game and he's getting 5 to 6 targets, you're good. The other thing too, and Rhino had mentioned it. Chubb has Kareem Hunt behind him. Not Najee has. Najee has nobody. It's just Najee, and also Big Ben sucks. So the dump offs are going to be there all year, and then they have to be. Although, timeout, is Big Ben not going this weekend? We haven't really talked about him. Is Dwayne Haskins going?
Yeah, Ben had a hip injury, but
Yeah, we haven't
I
even mentioned it because I don't think anybody has rostered him. Um, so
yeah,
I think it might be Dwayne Haskins this weekend, which would be crazy. I'd probably play those wide receivers, maybe but Juju, but Tay Johnson, Claypool, if he's good to go, he's always halfway injured too. I don't know.
yeah. So it is a hip injury. He didn't practice yesterday. I don't really got a report for today, but Big Ben's he's been pretty solid through playing through injuries. He has just been
Mm,
solid actually performing through injuries. So
that's
I mean,
fair.
he shouldn't be on your roster, shouldn't start him, but he will be out there, and if he is, then the dinks and dunks will be aplenty.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, PPR, both Najee Harris. If we go down to standard, probably Nick Chubb. I think that's apparent. So, all right, next one. Why don't you take us into it? What do we got?
Right. So got a couple teammates here. We'll go into the receiver position. We got Marvin Jones Jr., of course, or Laviska Shenault. And this one, I mean, you're gonna lead us into like where you're thinking with it, but this is gonna be more projecting forward, as I was saying. Like you're gonna forget in the past, but where are you liking? What side of this coin?
For me personally, it's gonna be Marvin Jones Jr. I do love Laviska rest of season, so I don't think anybody should get it twisted. But in regards to the both of them, I still think Marv is the big play guy. Where what we saw this last weekend too with Laviska Shenault was in direct relationship to DJ Chark being out. Marvin Jones had a horrible game, but I think it's just who he was being covered by, the routes they were having him run, and the game plan. I think the game plan was to keep it short. And I think that was clear, even on the play that DJ Chark got hurt on, right? So I think that was the game plan. I think that was the script. I think they're both fantastic plays rest of the season. Like if you can get Laviska Shenault on the cheap, like if you can send a Robbie Anderson someone's way for a Laviska Shenault, then I'm doing it all day long. And even with Robbie Anderson's 11 targets last week, but But honestly, it's been miserable if you're a Robbie Anderson owner. Even with the 11 targets, it wasn't great. I actually traded him today for Michael Carter and Van Jefferson just because I just couldn't I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to get him out of my, and he was in my starting lineup. So whether it was a good move or not, time will tell. But yeah, Marvin Jones, I think he just has a higher floor than Laviska Shenault. I think Shenault will probably be a target hog for the most point, but Marvin Jones is the guy that's going to go up and get the ball. And Trevor Lawrence for some of these games is going to need that, especially when they get in the, if they ever happen to get into the hunt, which I don't foresee. But yeah, he's going to want to make some big plays down the line. So for me, it's going to be Marvin Jones Jr.
All right. I'm going with Chenault on this one. Reason being because one, we saw it in action as the game plan had to develop without DJ Chark on the fly last week, but also just even the utilization this year, we haven't seen as much of the Chenault running the ball, taking the sweeps and things like that. And so I think that's the unexplored part of the offense that Urban Myers or whoever is running the offense or making the play calls are going to have to just find more interesting ways to get him the ball.
Mm,
And
sure. Yeah.
Marvin Jones could win you a week. That
Right.
guy, he can get you 3 touchdowns. And,
Fair.
if he's the wide receiver one this upcoming week, I mean, wouldn't really surprise you, especially given the matchup. They'll be looking pretty good. So, against the Titans. So,
Yeah. Yeah. They're
uh,
both going to have huge days.
but just for the rest of the season, if I had to pick one, I'm going with Chenault, and that's just because, like I said, the utilization still has a higher ceiling that way. Even though week to week, Marvin Jones could be the wide receiver one, and I can't foresee that outcome for Chenault any given week.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, feed me the next one so we could get into some of the other stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we got about 20 so minutes. We might go a little bit over 20 minutes left. That's perfectly fine. We'll try to wrap the rest of this up quick. Corey Davis, Antonio Brown, rest of season. Who do you like?
Eh, this one's fluctuating, but I'm gonna stick with AB.
Mm.
I'm a sucker for just Antonio Brown, man. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great, outstanding receiver. He should be in that upper echelon, but he's fighting for a lot of targets right now. I do like
Yeah.
the stability more. Corey Davis can be a target hog, but
Yep.
the quality of those targets are going to range week to week so much more that I just can't see it. At least not to Antonio Brown's level. And Corey Davis, to me, he's a solid wide receiver 3. But you've seen where between his 2 big games, he just kind of disappeared. AB could always I don't think he'll ever truly disappoint you unless everyone's healthy and he's just segued out the game plan. But I'm gonna trust AB in between these two.
I'm going to too. Now I've just as I have Marvin Jones during the draft season, I'm just as high as I was on Corey Davis. I think he's a fantastic wide receiver 3 or flex play. With that being said, I just trust the team around Antonio Brown more. I trust the quarterback more. I trust the O-line more. I trust the opportunities more. And Jamison Crowder is back, and that will have an effect on Corey Davis. Corey Davis, I think, will still remain Zach Wilson's guy, but that offensive line is so bad. Like they are so bad, and they're already blaming their quarterback that he doesn't get rid of the ball fast enough. He has the shortest amount of time in the league to get rid of the ball. So all things considered, he's actually played quite well. With that being said, still love Corey Davis rest of the season, but I'm gonna go AB too. The stability around him, like you said too, it's just the stability, it's the security, it's the safety. You may not have as many boom games, but you're definitely going to get solid production week in and week out. It's clear that Tom Brady loves him. All right, you want to get into the final rest of the season?
Yep. So we got here we got Miles Sanders on one end of it, or Javonte Williams, rookie out of Denver, on the other side of it. Who you taking, Moose?
Oh man, this one's tough because I have them ranked fairly similarly. But I'm gonna go with Javonte Williams, man. I think Miles Sanders is getting exiled out of this offense. We see Kenneth Gainwell getting more and more production. He's getting more targets. They're using him in more ways. I just think they're more comfortable using him in every asset of the game. So Javonte Williams will start to pick up more and more touches like he has been. He's obviously an absolute monster running the ball. There's no debating that. Now he only did have 7 rushes this past week, but against Baltimore and with all the things that transpired during the game, I think that had an effect on the way the game was going to go. And again, the later half after their bye week, man, they have a solid schedule. Like they're going to get into the nitty gritty where they're going to be having to make the playoffs. And the Eagles too, but for me, their schedule is just too juicy. The Broncos, I just think it's too good of a schedule. So I'm gonna go with Javonte. I'm gonna go with the rookie, man.
And I'm begrudgingly sticking with the vet. Um, I mean, when you brought up Javonte's schedule, I wanted to see how Miles Sanders was looking. And from this is week 12 on, you got the Giants, the Jets, a bye, Washington, the Giants, and Washington.
Yeah,
That's soaking through like the fantasy playoffs from 12 to
yeah,
17. And I mean, I know Gainwell's gonna get some more usage. He's proven his worth. When they do feed Miles Sanders the ball, like they actually get him more than say 10 carries, he's effective. It's just not exciting. And he's a capable pass catcher as well. It's just a matter of how the Eagles view him themselves. If they feel like they're gonna get more of Gainwell, then it could turn into a 50-50 split. Javonte's already in a 50-50 split. So I think he could hold them. I think he could hold them off just a little bit more, and then they just get them both off on the field. Because I mean, it's not like they're blazing at receivers where they can't like really use both at the same time.
right.
I'm gonna stick with Sanders. If that's the vote of confidence you need, if you watch this anyway, Miles, get out there and prove me right. But otherwise, I'm begrudgingly going with you.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
Now, yeah, that was the last one. Moose, you want to talk to the people about some stuff?
Yeah, real quick. We're always gonna remind you if you're still on the show, thank you for watching so far. We have about 20 minutes left or so, 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys comment. It helps us out a lot. If you have any questions about who you're playing tonight, let us know. Let us know who has who. Who you have going tonight. We want to know because we got guys too. I got Cooper Cup going. I got Robert Woods reluctantly, and which is tough. Reevaluate your perception of what Robert Woods is going to be. I think we can go through. I think I want to save our flopper pops for Sunday. I don't have actually shite. I do have a pop going tonight. So let's do it. Let's run into it real quick. We don't even have to give that much of an explanation. You can if you like, but I'm just gonna say mine first, my flop, and that's Cordaro Patterson. I know everyone's super hyped on him right now. He won so many people games last week, but he's going against the Jets, and the Jets have actually been really good against the wide receiver. On average, 17 and a half points per game. 587 yards doesn't look good, but only 2 touchdowns. I don't think it's a recipe for success for Cordero. Even if Calvin Ridley's out, he may be getting number 1 coverage when he's on wideout. Like that could very well happen. And the Jets have just been good against wide receivers in fantasy, people. So yeah, Cordero Patterson's my flop. Why don't you give us yours?
All right. So we could debate on the Cordell part a little bit too after because
Sure.
I kind of feel the other way about it. But my
Sure.
flop is Brandon Cooks. I know he's been kind of an unsung hero for some of you guys. You picked him up late in the draft or late in the draft. He definitely wasn't on waivers, but you wasn't expected to rely on him as a starter after a
Not
couple
even
weeks.
close.
Yeah, he's turned into that for yous,
Yeah.
and I mean, some people are predictive of like, oh well, it's going to be a bounce back week. He was a little slow last week. He got New England. They lost a tough game,
Mm.
and what Belichick knows how to do is take away your player. Like that's your guy. Erase him. I don't care if they got Gilmore. They don't. Don't be afraid of the player. Be afraid of the system. And when it comes to Cooks, I'm gonna pump the brakes on him just because they also know him too. He's been in New England. They know his weaknesses. I think he only spent did he spend a season with you guys or did he
He
get
did. Yeah.
multiple? Just only
Uh,
one?
yeah, 2018. Yeah, the year we beat the Rams, right?
Yeah, I just didn't know if he spent more than one season there. Like they was just a one and done.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's done this week too because I wouldn't play him. He's gonna be the flop for me. Um against and just quickly with the Cordell thing, uh yeah, they got no choice but to feed this guy. I do like him, but this is why I mean this is why you get both sides of the fancy dads, right? We don't always gotta
Yeah.
agree on it, but
Yep.
I feel like this is a game, especially without Calvin Ridley, that he's gonna be funneled targets, and especially I know they're good against the receiver, but this is a multi-positional player, and they're not good against the running back. So
That's fair.
yeah. Um, my my pop is going to be Edward Solaire, and
Love that.
he's been a guy that people were a little down on a couple weeks ago. We was even debating on like what's his rest of season value. I think week 3 and on, but and everyone just saw Buffalo take the Texans to the holy moly donut shop last week, but this Sunday
Holy
night.
moly.
Oh no, yeah, they
Oh my
fucking
god.
destroyed them. But this isn't that offense, and this isn't those players.
Mm.
I like Edward Solaire. He's been on an upwards trajectory. If he does get in the end zone, that's gonna be even more of a sweetener because he's been getting more passing game work. And I would rely on him. Put him in as your RB2. Don't be afraid. He's gonna continue on with this trajectory, and you're gonna get closer to the value that you drafted him at.
Thank God. Thank God. I have him in 2 leagues. I didn't play him in any leagues 2 weeks ago. And he was just a master. The past 2 weeks, he's been getting some work and he's been getting some goal line work, and it's clear they're targeting him a little bit more. So I think that's what the Chiefs needed to do. My pop this week is Daryl Henderson. First and foremost, he is a startable back from here on out. So if you for some reason don't think you can play him, you definitely can, and you definitely should against the Seahawks. They are the third worst team against the running back, and averaging just over 24 points per game. I think that he has a very high ceiling tonight. High floor as well, but his ceiling is, I mean, it's pretty high because this is a divisional game. They're gonna try to run the clock out at some point, the Rams. And yeah, I think Daryl Henderson's gonna have an absolutely fantastic week. Um, with that being said, we'll spend a couple more minutes talking about tonight's game. Do you have anybody going tonight, Dano?
I had a tough decision, and maybe I'll get your take on it. So,
Okay,
um, I got Tyler Higbee going tonight. I'm ultimately gonna play him because I'm not gonna tinker this close to the game time.
sure.
Um, I picked up Dawson Knox.
Oh shit.
Now, yeah,
Oh shit. Oh, I
Knox
thought you
has
were gonna
been
say like Zach Ertz or some shit.
no. I picked up a guy
Oh boy.
that is. I mean, he's the if you look at all season points so far, he's in the upper echelon right now just because he's had 2 pretty good weeks. He's had 3 weeks
Sure.
straight with a touchdown, but Higbee hasn't been disappointing. He's just kind of been a little on and off.
Yeah, I mean the first
Um,
week he blew up, and then you expected that every week since.
yeah, and as a result, like when you pick up a hot commodity, it's kind of like, well, do I change it or do I just kind of keep it even keel? And I'm gonna stick with Higbee one more week. I mean, not that he's really got to be relegated to the bench. It could always be a trade piece, but yeah,
Yeah.
I got Higbee going, and I got Lockett going in the league too. He was a little
Shit.
banged up, but he's gonna go. He's ready to play. We didn't
Yeah.
even bring him up earlier. We did get a question from Alex. Actually, no, I'm sorry, from Jordan DiCarlo.
What's up, Jordo?
He had said that our thoughts on Damian Harris the rest of the season, and as the honorary fan, I'm gonna let you take that first, and because I want to see what you're thinking about that.
Sure, yeah. I think he's a top 20 running back. He's gonna finish top 20. I'm not saying he'll be top 20 every single week. You guys know how it can be. But ultimately I think you can't like it depends on what you're getting for him. Like if you can go out and get James Robinson, I mean I'd probably do that, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think James Robinson is fine. These last 2 weeks, man, it's been some different shit. New Orleans, that game was an entire breakdown. And then against Tampa Bay, we knew. I mean, I didn't play him. I've traded for him in 2 leagues, Jordan. I own him in 3. Along with Darnell Mooney, he's the player I own the most out of anybody. And I don't think it's because I'm being a homer. I love the idea of this Pats run game. Even if it is a committee, there's no way they can go to Brandon Bolden for that long. Like I'll shoot myself in the foot. So that's not going to happen. And against Houston, I think he'll rack up points. It's going to be an easy game for them. So no, I'm perfectly fine with Damian Harris the rest of the season. There's a reason I traded low for him. So what do you think?
He definitely has he has the ebbs and flows with him because he could be game scripted out pretty easily.
Sure.
Stone hands. He isn't quite effective on a yard per carry, metric. However,
Yeah.
when they do have a lead and they want to grind it out, then he's gonna be a solid RB2 for you. Um, Top 20 is a little bit pushing it.
I have him at number 20.
He would be
Finishing
okay.
at 20. It's like when I say top 20, I don't mean like he's gonna be beating out, Chris Carson, or well, we don't know what his situation is, but like he's not gonna be beating out Kareem Hunt or Daryl Henderson or James Robinson. But I have him top 20. Yeah.
Would you trade him? All right. Not knowing the how many games missed, would you trade him for Montgomery?
Yeah.
You'd give okay. So
Yeah,
all
I
right.
mean, I wouldn't trade him straight up because I think you need to win the games that are upcoming. But I think Montgomery's actually going to be longer than 4 to 5 weeks. But if the time comes in 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, ask me then, Daniel, and I'll let you know. But I don't think I would do it straight up for him right now. No.
That's fair. Yeah. So I think as you were saying, like a game against like this week against Houston, you could treat him as the RB2, but I mean, you got Dallas coming up. He'll probably be more of a flex play in that game, and then just kind of dictate based off what do you think of the Patriots week by week. You'll kind of know when to play them, and that's the blessing is that you actually could predict his usage that way. There's a lot of guys where it's kind of um game script dependent where the coaches are making more of the decisions, but you kind of know if the Pats are up, then he's gonna have a good game, and if they're down, or if you project them to be down, that you should probably sit them.
Okay. All right, and we did get another question. Corey Davis or Jacoby Myers this week from Derek. Thanks for the question, Derek. This is a tough one. Rhino says Jacoby, he scores this week. Let's freaking hope so, man, because he'll finally enter that low end wide receiver 2 territory. If he does start scoring, he's been unbelievable. But we'll go to you first, Perks. Who do you think, Jacoby or Corey Davis this week?
I'm taking Corey Davis. I mean, one, it's against Atlanta. Maybe he needs the crumpets over there in London to get going and have another effective game. But I'll take Corey
Crumpets.
Davis. I'll take Corey Davis in this one. Myers, I mean, I talked about it last week. It's kind of hard to project like if this guy could even score touchdowns. I'm not saying he's allergic to the end zone, but I mean, something's got to give. He just might not be he's not utilizing that way. I mean, he has a
Yeah.
better floor just because he's gonna get more catches, but Corey Davis could have much more bigger plays. And if I'm not mistaken, like some of the games in London have been high scoring. Just I don't know if it's the start time or the adjustment or what, or the excitement of the roar of the crowd, but
Yeah.
it's something that that I would just keep a tab on, and I'll take Corey Davis just for the either or start a set.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. The efficiency for Jacoby has been okay, right? He's getting points. He finished as the wide receiver 21 against Tampa Bay, which I did play him in one league. I can't remember who I played him over, but I did play him, so that was worth it. But no, Corey Davis against Atlanta, I have to go with him as well. Um, all right, great. So I know it's 8 o'clock now. I'm gonna skip the DFS play of the week. Perks, we can talk about that on Sunday. I think we can cover that on Sunday. And I'll make sure to get yours in there because I know most Sunday mornings you're out being a dad and such. So we'll go on with the gambling corners. I'll start with my prop bet of the night. I'll also read to you guys what I have for a 20 times multiplier on pick'ems for underdog. So my prop bet of the night is Russell Wilson over 292.5 yards. I took that in underdogs as well. I also took Cooper Cup over half a rush or reception touchdown. So basically just has to score a touchdown. I took Lockett over 69.5 reception yards. I took Tyler Higbee. This one's going to worry you a little bit. Under 43.5 reception yards, and I'm playing him. So that's like that one that one hurts because like I definitely need him to get over 43.5 reception yards or just like 2 touchdowns. That'd be sick too. And then Cooper Cup one. And then I took Daryl Henderson over 68.5 rush yards. Yeah, what you don't use underdogs, right?
Use underdogs, but I know you, and you picked the under, and this is shocking to
I
me.
know,
Like,
I know. It's not often actually. You know what's funny? I had 3 lineups last week and they were all overs and I cannot predict the overs just as much as I can. Like Tyler Higbee will probably finish with like 47 reception yards and I'll be screwed by 3 yards. The only time I won this year, I actually took Chris Godwin under 74.5 reception yards and he literally got 74. So that's the only time I've been like correct on the under. So we'll see how it goes. Um, and I only took 1 under. So, all right. So, as you guys can see on the stream, you can see the point spread. You can see the money line. You can see the over under. So for the point spread, we have the Rams favored by, is that 2.5? My screen just went blurry.
yep, you got Rams minus 2.5.
Okay, so
So
I'm taking the Rams in the spread. I think they might just literally win by a field goal. I don't know. As much as I'd love to take the Seahawks tonight, the Rams, their defense is just too good, and that offense is high and flying right now with Matty Stafford. So, yeah, I gotta take the Rams. What would you take there?
taking the Rams as well. We touched on it last week a bit with the Jags. They were 7.5 point underdogs, and we were saying the difference between 6.5 and 7.5 is big. The difference between 2.5 and 3.5 is large too.
Yeah.
So I'll take the Rams for that. That seems to be the way to go.
All right. All right. Fantastic. So, we'll move on to the money line. The money line we have here is I can't even read it, Perks. Can you read that?
Seahawks plus 120.
Okay.
And I think
Was
I
it
would
the
still
Rams
take
minus 140?
minus
Yeah.
142. So I mean
Okay.
you're getting some units, but not much. I would
Yeah.
still go on the Rams side of it just to
Would you?
win the game outright. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think this is a game where they should, I don't want to say dominate, but I
I
think
mean,
they're the
no,
clear.
they should, but we know Russ in prime time, man. Anything
Yeah.
can happen with Russ, dude. He could light it up. He could. Um. So yeah, I'll probably take. I mean, I don't ever take money lines. Like it's just not. I don't have enough money to. You know what I mean? Like
It's not the yeah.
Right. If I did, I would take the underdog probably every single time. Um, and then in regards to the over under, we got 54.5. I am smashing that. You guys know I love the over. In this type of game, I'm pumping that full of iron. So yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just keep you think you're going high? Nope, go higher. This game could easily be past 59. I mean, I thought the over under was going to be higher than this. So I'm guessing you too, right? Like are you even
Oh yeah.
questioning that over? Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is probably going to be like a 31-24 type of affair, and or like you're going to be comfortably over it where you're not thinking about it. So 30-27 even. I would
Okay.
smash the over.
Yeah,
No, not thinking
smash
about
it. Yeah, smash, smash, smash. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, that pretty much does it for us today, Perks. I know, we didn't get to talk a lot about who we had going. I have pretty much everyone under the sun in this game playing. I got Russ going in one league, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, and Van Jefferson. So, and Higbee. So, like, I have parts everywhere in this game. So I know you said you had Higbee. You got anybody else?
Higby. I got Lockett in the Legacy League. I got Henderson going.
Mm.
Actually, shout out to Alex too last week. I'm sorry for your loss because that was a shellacking, but but it's
That's
all
tough.
right.
It was
Someone,
tough because his team is so good.
yeah. No,
Like his
but
team is so good.
it just had Tyreek Hill. I mean, what can you say?
Oh
Uh,
damn.
and yeah, I think that's. I mean, across all my leagues, I think that's it. Chris Carson, I had, but it's gonna be a bridge I got to cross later. I think I'm starting Hubbard in that league, and over him. Give him one more week to go. If
Chubb.
if he actually gets the official nod with McCaffrey. So hey guys, this is why you got to pay attention. Next couple days, and especially leading into Sunday. Um, if you got guys going today, Moose always says it. I'm gonna plug it in, put them into the positional spots. Don't put them as your flex. I don't care how you value them. I don't care if you think that they're more of a low end flex tier. Just put them as the running back. Put them as a receiver, and you'll be thanking yourself later because, I mean, with this injuries report, you just want to give yourself that much more flexibility on Sunday.
Right. Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that. Gerald Everett, perfect example of how this could go wrong. You don't know who on a Saturday is going to come down with COVID. You don't know who on a Friday is going to come down with COVID. And if you put a wide receiver into your flex tonight, right? You put Van Jefferson in your flex tonight, or you put anybody in your flex tonight, and one of those guys goes down, and you have to play some bum. You got to play Anthony Miller, who's not even on a team. That's the only other wide receiver you have. When that happens, don't say we didn't warn you, because we did. As far as anything else, Perks, I don't got anything else to say, man. I think we covered just about all we could in an hour and about 5 minutes. We like to keep it pretty concise, pretty short. And yeah, it was great to be on the show with you, man. If you guys joined in, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, thanks for giving us a comment or two. Definitely let your friends know about us. We're gonna be here all season long. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on obviously Facebook. If you're here, we're also on Twitch, we're on YouTube, and of course we're on TikTok, where we've been blowing up, man. In just over a month, we went over 1,000 followers. And for anybody that knows streaming or anybody that knows anything about TikTok, it's tough to just come out with funny content and then get followers. It's not easy. So we're grinding. We're trying to make it work here, and we'd love for everybody to be a part of it. And in regards to tonight, everybody, good luck. Get them out of your flex position. It doesn't mean that you think any less of Kareem Hunt when he's in your RB2 slot. Whatever you got to do, get him in your flex. Fantastic show, Perks. Glad to be here again, man. And we'll see you next week. All right.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, good luck to everyone, guys. Let's hope everyone stays healthy, and let's get a good game. I'm more excited for this game, like I said, as opposed to the other matchups. So let's just watch some good football.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. I'm ready. Thursday night, football. Let's get it on.
outro.
I'm trying to figure out if Rhino knows. We might still be on. I don't fucking know.
Well, hey, if you're on, appreciate the extended support.
Did you say that? Yeah, yeah. If you are on, we don't know if we're on. We don't have that power around here. Yeah. So, that's good. That's good. I can't tell. My Facebook is just so slow, dude. It's so bad.
Yeah, when you see I mean, I gotta mute. I gotta mute like the video itself.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, just the feedback of everything. It's just so slow.
It's horrible. All right, so I don't he must know we're off, but he's not saying anything.